As you know, we've got really a special guest here tonight to take you through the Kilchoman. And the Kilchoman this is actually the guy who distills it. So he's the distilling manager. So John MacLellan, you want to come up?
Please.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, thank you very much for the welcome to your lovely country. It's actually only my second time ever in the United States, so and I've seen more of it this time. Last time I was in New York and I saw the skyscrapers. I was very excited, and that was about it. Ed has given you so far a very good update on whisky making in general. I'm going to speak about our own product, which is Kilchoman. The lady up at the end here at the bar has been asking a little bit about Islay, which is where I live. I lived there. You know, somebody once said to me, have you lived there all your life? And of course the answer to that is not yet. But I have been there for quite a long time. Islay is a very small island, about 20 miles by 25. We have about 3,500 people, and depending on the demand in the whisky business, because the whisky business sort of goes in peaks and troughs over normally about a 12, 13, 14 year period at peaks and troughs. At the moment we're at a peak and it's been there for quite a while. This one seems to be lasting quite well. But in a really busy year, this island with 3,500 people will produce probably 16, 17 million litres of alcohol. Now, that's a lot of booze. You know, Kilchoman is of course by far the smallest, but some of the other distilleries in the island, like Kilchoman, you saw a shot of Kilchoman on the screen there earlier on. Kilchoman has just been refurbished and can now do something like 6.7 million litres a year. So that's Islay. I mean, it's a small place, small population. Everybody has some sort of handle on the whisky business there. We've got 8 distilleries. Kilchoman is the newest of these, obviously. We have Bruichladdich, Bowmore, Kilchoman, Lagavulin, Laphroaig, Ardbeg, Kilchoman and Bruichladdich. So we've got 8 distilleries. So it is a very, very important part of life there. Now this first whisky you're going to taste is it's called the 100% Islay. That's to do with the name, not to do with the strength. And we call it 100% because, as I said earlier, we do absolutely everything from growing the barley to putting it in the bottle. So everything is done on site. We are actually the only distillery in Islay that does all of these steps. Bruichladdich bottle, Laphroaig and Bowmore also floor malt, but no one else does the whole picture. Now this whisky is the barley is about 20 to 25 parts per million, so it's fairly peaty. It's well, best thing to do is have a sip, and then the first question I'm going to ask is I'm going to get somebody to tell me how old it is. There must be somebody here who can hazard a guess at that. So have a little taste. Be careful. This is a little bit more of a more robust whisky than what you've been drinking earlier. So this is a typical Islay whisky. Okay, so this is a Kilchoman 100%. This whisky is how old? Anyone know?
7 years.
7 years.
4, 5 to 7.
3 years and 2 weeks.
3 years.
3 years and 2 weeks. So we've been waiting for the birthday of this whisky because, as Ed said earlier, whisky cannot legally be sold until it's 3 years old. This is 3 years and 2 weeks. It's called the 100% Islay, and this is a whisky which we'll bottle in the future. We'll bottle probably only once, maybe twice a year, because it forms about a fifth or sixth of our production. Okay, so it's going to be used very sparingly. We are in an awkward position at the moment because we have so little stock. We're in a have your cake and eat it situation, if you like. We need to sell enough whisky to service our business, pay the wages, etc. But we also want to keep it until it gets a bit older. And the reason for that is Kilchoman, unlike the older whisky distilleries, Kilchoman has no history because it's a brand new business. We don't know if this is going to be tremendous at 10-year-olds, fantastic at 12, even better at 15. Nobody knows. Maybe what we should be doing, I said to Ed last night when we were chatting, maybe what we should be doing is selling it all now because it's good when it's young. So, but we don't know. It's a risk we're taking. We're keeping it to get older in the hope that it's going to get better. But there is nothing to go on because it's a totally new product. Okay, so this is Kilchoman 100%.
Are you aging it in the bottles or in the barrels?
Oh no, you can't age whiskey in bottles.
That's what I was wondering, because I know
you
one
age whiskey in barrels. This is aged entirely in bourbon barrels, which we buy directly from Buffalo Trace in Kentucky. So that's a US input into it. It's supplying us with a cask. Ed said recently somebody somebody very smart in the Coopers Union in the United States back in the 1960s managed to get a law put onto your statute books or whatever to say that because casks could only be used once. So this is aged entirely in the casks. Once whiskey goes into the bottle, nothing happens to it.
Yeah,
It's in there.
that's
It's finished. It's not going anywhere.
Is this first fill bourbon, second fill bourbon? Is it a mixture?
This is all first bourbon.
All first
fill. What we would call fresh bourbon.
Fresh bourbon.
We are now at the stage because the distillery is now getting on for 7 years old. We're at the stage where we're refilling some of the bourbon casks. I would envisage that we'll use them twice, and then we may have a run through them and pick out the very best ones for filling a third time, and we'll ship the rest on to somebody else who will use them.
John, do you break down the barrels and or do they come whole?
No, they come whole. They come to us in containers of normally about 220, 230 barrels, and they come in one piece, and we use them as soon as they reach us. Yeah.
Does your distillery own any distilleries in Kentucky, or?
No, we have, but we do have a good deal which we set up with Buffalo Trace early on, so that when we need casks now, it's simply a case of me emailing the distillery. They'll hand pick a container load for us and ship them off.
Nice.
And when we're using barrels at Kilchoman, we would be filling about 22 barrels a week. So you get an impression of the size.
John, do I understand correctly that there are certain quality levels of bourbon barrels that are selected for Kilchoman?
Absolutely. The position we're in, because we're so small, we're such a small business, we have a certain amount of money to spend, and as far as we're concerned, the best possible investment that we can make is buying the best wood we can get. So we're a sort of size of distillery where we can't afford to waste 1 litre. So every litre of alcohol we make has to be a prisoner, and we have to make the best possible use of it. So we only buy the very best casks. That's why I was telling you earlier, we buy sherry butts for £600 each. We buy bourbon barrels. I think bourbon barrels we pay about $90 to $100 each for. So you can imagine for a small company like us, suddenly getting 230 barrels delivered, it affects the cash flow quite a bit, because obviously we have to pay for the casks when we get them. So it's a big part of our business, but we feel that we couldn't spend our money any better, because we have to make the best of everything we produce. So,
Just out of curiosity, how were you accepted as a new distillery there in such a...
On Isla, as far as production, and production is my job. I mean, sales and marketing is not what I do. Production is my job. The production part of the business, we lend bearings to Bruichladdich. We borrow, maybe a special type of grease or whatever from Lafroig. We swap. If we have an electric motor burns out, I can borrow one within the hour. When it comes to sales and marketing, it's a different matter. But I think production is what you're asking about. Production-wise, the cooperation is brilliant.
Well, just as far as community, after 100-something years, you come in and open a new distillery there. I mean, that had to be. That was kind of resistance to that.
No, not at all. There's room for us all. There's room for us all, and the general feeling in Isla is that we're an addition to family, if you like, and it's been pretty good. We've had a lot of help from other distilleries, and at the moment we are negotiating to build a warehouse for our own company to take 7,000 barrels. But at the moment we actually store a lot of our stock with Bruichladdich. We store stock with Morrison's Bowmore, and we also have the use of one of the old warehouses at Portland Distillery, which closed in 1983. So we have stock stored all around the island, for which we pay for the rental, but these other companies, if they felt with any sort of threat at all, would say, no, I'm sorry, our warehouse is full or whatever.